Hi, church family at Ocala First. This is Mark Babalian, your stewardship chair. Rebecca said I only had 3 minutes, so I'm going to get right to the point. This conversation is about our operating fund for the church. As you know, we have a $1.1 million budget for the operating fund every year. Earlier this year, when the Finance Committee, led by Phil Bledsoe, was reviewing the budget, it became apparent that we'd have about a $140,000 deficit for the year. Now, for 2 reasons, we chose just to monitor it and see what would happen and go forward with that deficit. The 2 reasons were, one, we had over a $300,000 cash surplus, so we were not that concerned at the time. And 2, we had a new minister joining us in July, and we didn't want to make any drastic changes without getting input from our new minister. Now, fast forward today, we're looking at it, and this is why I'm making an appeal to you. There's 2 primary sources of revenue for this church, one being pledge giving, which is over $600,000 a year. That's coming in this year on target, and in some cases even a little bit higher than projected. And that's a testament to those that pledged late last year and early this year for this full year. The shortfall comes in non-pledge giving. We made several assumptions going into this year, and some of those assumptions aren't coming through. So the non-pledge giving projected is about $100,000 short of what we anticipated. So you take the $140,000 that we started with as a deficit, the $100,000 shortfall, and now we have a deficit this year to be projected for about $240,000. This church is an incredibly generous church. I'll cite some examples recently. Coming out of COVID in 2021, we appealed in May of that year for $170,000 to help fund the budget. And within a month or just over a month, we raised $175,000 towards the budget. Also last year, we had an appeal for $55,000 to take care of some facility issues and repairs that had to take place last year, and we raised that money during the 3rd and 4th quarter of last year. Also last year in 2022, we actually paid off the remaining debt that was on our balance sheet, which is over $300,000 due to the generosity of our church members, and we wiped that off our balance sheet. That was tremendous. So we can do it. It's a very generous church, and we're making you aware of this issue, but we would like for you to prayerfully consider and talk to your family about helping us through this. Recently discussing Nehemiah, Pastor Tim mentioned how volunteers are also stakeholders. And I'd like to just broaden that a little bit and say we all are stakeholders in this church financially, and we all have a responsibility. And I would just appreciate everybody take some prayerful consideration and help us through this so we can start 2024 on a very strong footing. Thank you so much.